Goedenavond allemaal, de tweede aflevering. Vanavond ontvang ik toch wel een van de meest sympathieke mensen in de whisky scene, voor mij alleszins, Shilton Almeida van Paul John Distillery. Ik kijk er enorm naar uit om met hem te babbelen over whisky, Paul John meer bepaald natuurlijk, en gewoon ook over het dagelijks leven. Paul John is wel een leuk merk, maar Shilton als persoon is zeker voor de mensen die hem kennen, is zeker en vast zo leuk. Dus bij deze, ik nodig hem uit. Hier komt hij. Hi, Shilton.
Hello, Gunther.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you nervous?
Not at all.
Oh, you should be.
I've just been releasing some movies out there, so I don't think I'm that nervous now.
You were looking at the movies.
Do you see the videos I put up?
Okay. So we're going to talk about whiskey this evening.
Yes, for sure.
Let's do a tasting with which brand do you prefer? Because I have a few. Do you want to do a tasting about Wolfburn or something else?
or chilling and take over Chris.
Okay. And then later on, when Chris is coming, he will do the Paul John tasting.
A Paul John tasting, that will be nice.
No, we're going to do a tasting with 3 of your bottles.
Yep.
We will talk later on more about that. But first of all, for the people who don't know you, who are you?
So I'm Shilton Almeida, and it's not Almeida the way you said, it's Almeida. And I work for Paul John Whiskies. I look after the Northern European market and UK for the sales. Based in London. I'm from Goa myself, but it's been 5 years now. I'm in Europe, traveling across on the road. Pretty much live in a suitcase, as most of you guys know. I joined the company in 2012, working in Goa first, and then moved to UK, and just doing the European markets now. We got 3 whiskies today, Gunther. Am I right?
We do 3, yeah.
Yeah. So
this one is for you.
Oh.
But that's not the worst. Here's a special friend of you.
Yeah.
I think Peter is a big fan.
Peter's a big fan. I can see Peter. So for you guys, I'm just gonna run through a bit of the background, Gunther, about what we are and how we started off.
Yeah, okay.
The company was set up, as in John Distilleries was set up in 1992 by the owner, the chairman, Mr. Paul P. John.
I have a picture of him. This is the man.
So he's the guy who started the company in 92, making whiskey, rum for the Indian market for a long time, till 2008. When the distillery was set up in Goa, and 2012 is when the brand was first launched in the UK. Today we are in 38 countries across the world and just growing in every market, just expanding, I would say. The distillery is based in Goa on the west coast of India.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 10 kilometers from the sea. It's in a place called as Kunkulim.
So it's over here, where the circle is, Goa.
Yeah. If you could just show the image back, Gunther. If you look up north in Rajasthan and Haryana, these are the states up north near the foothills of Himalayas. That's where the barley is, and we take the barley from up north to Goa, where the distillery is. Now, many times people come and say, why is Paul John different, and how is it different than any other whiskey that we have tried before? The main difference is, of course, the location, the water. Every whiskey, even from the same region, will be different. But the biggest difference for us will be the barley that we use. So we use a 6-row barley compared to a 2-row barley.
Send me a picture of that.
Yes. So if you can, on the right is the 6-row barley, and on the left is a 2-row barley.
Okay.
the 6 rubalis, it's one which we get more in India. 6 rubalis, the biggest difference is 6 rubali is high on protein.
But it's easier to grow, or
To grow,
that isn't the case?
Yeah, if we have the 2 rubali as well, but we have more of the 6 rubali.
Okay.
So to use that, plus the character of the whiskey that we get today. So it flavors in the style that we want to. So that's why we use that. Barley, the 6 barley is very high on protein and low on carbohydrates, low on the starch. It's just the opposite of a 2 barley.
Mm-hmm.
2 high on the sugars and low on protein. So that will give a big mouthfeel, oily character to the whiskeys, which you have seen in the whole range most of the time.
Yeah.
The second biggest difference for us will be the maturation, the temperatures. We get hot and humid climates in Goa. So with the hot and humid climate, the whiskey tends to mature quicker. It extracts more flavors in character from the wood in a short time. So it's like a 3 to 4 times faster maturation than a colder climate than Scotland. So you'll get a lot coming out in a short time. But there is also a downside to that, and that's the angel share.
Yeah.
So with that higher temperatures, we lose a lot. We lose a lot of angel share is 8 to 10%, so we lose a lot of whiskey by that.
And I presume that is the reason why there aren't age statements for the moment.
Yes, one of the reasons. At the same time, if you look at the character of it, it's more about just what you get in a short time. Putting up an age on it wouldn't. We don't have an age statement mentioned at the moment. More of it because we believe in the profile of the whiskey.
But will there be an age statement in the future?
At the moment, we have got no plans. But in the future, yes, we may. But never know. That will take some time.
Okay.
If you look at even today, you will go shopping out. You will see a lot of people going for the age straight away.
Yeah.
And for a number. So yeah.
But it's a different thing for India and Scotland, because Scotland, the angel share is not that high, so they have enough stock for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, if you look at losing about 8 to 10%, or 10% per year from a cask, in 10 years' time or in 20 years' time, there won't be anything much left in it.
Okay. I was doing some checking up earlier.
Yeah.
And I noticed something strange. I never heard about it, but the big sellers for Paul John are the original choice and the Bangalore malt.
Yeah.
And they are made with molasses, but they are called whiskey. So I presume these are Indian rules, or how does it work? Oh, you have some.
Call it as my whiskey tiffin. It's a tiffin. You can take it to work.
But are all bottles that high, or the other ones are larger?
There are different sizes. This is one of the pack size. This is 90 ml. There is 180 ml. And it goes up to a 750 ml bottle as well.
Okay.
This is the first brand launched by John Distilleries, by the company. It's one of the top 10 sellers in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
We sell about 11 million cases a year.
But it's worldwide or just in India?
Mainly India and 1 or 2 markets out of India, but mainly in India.
So we can't buy it here?
No. Well, it's you don't even call it as whiskey in Europe. That's
no. European rules. Okay, but in India it's sold as whiskey.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the whiskeys you find in India are they don't qualify to be called as whiskey across in Europe because they are not mature and they don't follow the entire rule.
Mm-hmm.
But back in India, they are allowed to sell as whiskey. There are at the moment the 3 whiskeys coming out of India. That is Paul John, Amrut, and Rampur. The only coming out of India which are single malt whiskeys.
And do you find that a shame, or you find it a good thing? Because they are different.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing. You're selling 11 million cases a year, dude. I mean, that's
Okay. that's fairly enough.
You can't be ashamed of
that. You were talking about the distilling, because you sent me a picture of the distillery.
Yes.
This one.
Yeah.
So how many stills are there in your distillery?
So we have these two sets. We have these two sets with us. The one which you can see first over here is a new one.
Mm-hmm.
We used the one on the side before, where with the capacity of if you look at this picture, the one on the left is the first one, and you can just see that we have extended and doubled up the capacity now. So we have gone from 3,000 liters to 6,000 liters a day, and this is copper pot stills made by Indian Copper, double distillation. Everything is the same what we do in any other distillery, the same process, but everything which is used in it is from India itself. So it's made in India.
Okay. You work all over Europe. I know you have been to Russia. You came to Belgium many times. I'm beginning to think it's for the beer and not to sell whiskey, but that's my point of view. But the UK market, you don't work there alone anymore. You do that with Greg.
Yes. So I started with myself in the UK in 2015, and Craig joined us. Now it's roughly about 3 years, roughly. I think Craig's working with us. So Craig does the UK market for us, as in same thing what I do across and see you guys visiting.
But he's a freelancer, or he's just employed for Paul John?
No, he's employed by Paul John now. Yeah.
Okay, and you're his boss, I presume.
Sorry?
You're his boss?
No. We are not bosses. We're drinking buddies.
You're drinking buddies, okay. Because I have a little surprise for you. Hi, Greg.
Oh,
Hi, guys.
Greg.
I should have known this.
You should have known this. Before we were starting up, Greg was joining us already, so we heard everything we said.
So it's been fun watching Shilton talkies.
I should have known this just because I know Gunther so well.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask your wife, but she didn't. She didn't make it. She had to do the laundry or something like that. I don't know. But Greg was immediately into it. So, Greg, what's your job on the England of the UK market? Because
I'm a mini Shilton. So I say mini in the sense I'm probably about twice the size of Shilton with the weight.
You could be twins.
I do basically what Shilton does throughout all of Europe. I do here in the UK, a lot smaller scale, just as much running around, but not quite the same distance. And I don't get the luxury of traveling in all the airplanes.
And drinking beer in other places.
No, I must admit I'm driving most of the time, so Shilton gets that ability to drive. Even when Shilton's working with me, I still end up driving. And he ends up drinking.
That's me. Think about it. Shilton, do you have a driver license?
No, not over here. I have a driving license back in India, and not over here.
Okay.
I make him pay for it when we were over in India at the distillery. He drives me everywhere there.
Okay, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
But you don't go there that often, so.
No, but that's why I try and make the most of it whilst we can.
Okay. Greg, what's your favorite Paul John whiskey?
I'd say it was the Petered Select, but over the past, I'd say 6-9 months, Shilton's kind of been winning me over to the Bold. So I'm somewhere in between those two at the moment.
Okay, but we're going to talk about the Select today, so
yes.
So you can change your opinion now. Just say it backwards. I used to like the Bold, and now I.
No, the Petered Select still wins out, but it's getting very close these days.
Okay. I think it's time for our first whiskey.
Yep.
Which one do you want to start with?
Well, we'll start with Oloroso.
The Oloroso. Craig, are you joining us?
I'm joining you guys.
You're already ready.
I'm all ready.
I have mine as well.
I was on the other side messaging Craig and saying, Craig, pour yourself a dram and join us. And there he is.
He did.
I'll join you.
Yeah. So we have these two releases which just come out in the market. Did you get it in January or February, Gunther?
January. In Belgium it was. Yeah.
So two new ones. They're both select cask, the Oloroso and the PX, what we're doing next. The first, all this while the core range was primarily with the American oak ex-bourbon cask. And it was time for us to expand and go to and do different releases coming out now. So this is the first one we have done. Oloroso select cask, 7 years old whiskey, 5 years in American oak and 2 years in Oloroso cask. It's select cask, just like the classic and the peated, the one which we're going to try later on. It's carefully selected, the best cask put together, wetted together. It has got the right ABV. For me, I think it's at 48%, so it's perfect. The other ones in the flagship are 6, which is easy drinking, and then you have the 55 in the classic and the peated. But then this 48, which just gives a little bit of push from 46, but doesn't go up to the big alcohol hit. So it's a good balance for me.
Yeah, I agree with Shilton. I think if we'd have done this the same as our other select casks, I think it might just been a bit too overpowering. The 48's just worked perfectly, got that perfect balance.
It's a new bottle, I see.
Yeah, I just opened it. It's a first dram here.
Like mine.
Look at his.
I think we have a fan. Mine is just opened. Yeah.
It's research. I have to keep
trying. The one is more empty. I don't know if someone is. Sorry, it was Elmer Fudd. Is someone drinking with us? Let us know what you think about it. If you tried it earlier on, let us know. If you have questions for Craig or Shilton concerning whiskey or about their private lives, it's all okay for me.
Or anything, or maybe about we'll
Shilton's dancing legs.
We'll come to the beer part at the end.
Yeah, we will do that part.
Yeah, I've explained to Gunther how I never used to drink beer until I met you.
Yeah,
I've heard that before. I've seen a lot of guys saying that. So
you're kind like the devil.
Yeah, I love the nose on this.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
It's sweet. You get that nutty character. A lot of dry fruits.
I like that. It's not too sweet though, and I find that some Oloroso casks can be a little bit sulfurous, and I don't get any of this.
I mean, if you ask me personally, I'm more of your American oak fan, but I can't do a big sherry bomb. This is fine for me. It has got the right balance. Just 2 years in Oloroso cask, but 2 years back in India. That means it has got a lot coming out from the wood.
Yeah.
What did you find about this, Gunther?
I prefer this one. The pigs. I like the pigs, but this one is my favorite.
Yeah.
I generally, me and Shilton had the discussion, I generally choose PX cask over Oloroso, but I think this time round for me, the Oloroso one wins out overall. They're very close, but the Oloroso just noses in front as the better dram for me.
Yeah. It's the bigger man.
It's they're both different whiskies, and the whole idea of that is they're both different profiles. This one, many a times people will see doing a PX first and then coming back to Oloroso, but I prefer this because of that big body, that dry nutty character coming up to that before moving to the sweet profile of it. So here you go. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
I'm thinking about pouring another one. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a very dram.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those drams that you drink the first one, before you realise it, you've poured the second one and you just sat there enjoying it again.
And then you end up with a bottle that is fairly empty.
Yeah.
You started early this morning.
No, I'm at home with the wife, so I have to be careful.
So you're telling now you're drinking secretly?
No, I won't go that far, but I'm being sensible.
There is one bottle in every room.
I go to the toilet.
There's one somewhere.
Yeah, there's one hid somewhere in every part of the house.
This is lovely. I mean, that sweet barley kind of character on the palate. You still get the dry fruits coming up again.
Yeah,
it's drier on the finish. For me it's more drier, sweet, but not very sweet again. I love it.
Yeah, I love the fact that we don't actually completely lose the Paul John character, that sort of nice tropical fruit note. You don't completely lose that to the sherry.
Yeah,
that's all natural colors here. We don't the entire Paul John range, whatever you find, it could be a single cask, it could be the Nirvana or the select cask. Any of them, you will find Paul John. We do not add any colors or flavors to the whiskeys. They're all natural colors. That's a 7 years old whiskey. That's what you get in for a 7 years.
I think most people will like this. There's nobody who was saying I hate this, or it's too much.
No, my responses I've received so far, especially here in the UK, has been very positive for it. I'm sure you guys have had pretty decent. You were lucky you got it a couple of months before us guys. So you got
I tried it in November at the fair in Brussels. So with the guys from the Nectar, and we had a discussion that day because some of us preferred the pigs, and other ones like myself preferred the Oloroso. So there was a bit of a rumble, but of course I won because I'm a big guy. No, but there was some discussion about, but which one is better? And that's a difficult question, of course, because it's all based on what you like, which one do you prefer. But I think for me, the Oloroso is more how you say it, all round,
balanced.
Yeah, balance. Sorry.
I still think it's a good balanced whiskey.
Yes.
I mean, it's again, just like you said, it's a personal thing. I'm not a big fan of big sherry whiskeys. This is enough for me. Anything more than that, I could be, not a big fan. The PX on the other side is more of a dessert jam for me. Again, it's personal. Even when it comes to, some people love peated whiskey, some don't. I love peated whiskeys again, so it's a personal thing all over. So one thing a lot of guys come up, you meet up and say, can you tell me if this whiskey is good? Well, it's good for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be good for you.
But if it's good for you, it's good for me too. A lot of people say that.
Exactly.
They do. It's surprising how many do.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed though, when I first let people start to try these two new select casks, the Oloroso was the clear favourite at the beginning. But once the bottle had been open, maybe a week, 2 weeks, the PX actually started to become more popular than the Oloroso.
Okay.
But like I say, it's all down to people's personal choice. So
Yeah.
that was one thing that I found.
Is that the reason? Because on the PX in the beginning, there's a lot of spice, and after a few weeks, it's a bit more.
Yeah, I think it's just had that little bit of time to mellow out a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I can imagine that. I'm gonna try it. I'm curious now.
You can see the colors. I was just trying to see if you can see the colors over here.
Oh. There's more spice in the nose.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like I said, the Oloroso is more balanced for me. I prefer that. The mouthfeel is.
I get this oaky, dry fruits, oaky character, nuttiness coming up from the Oloroso, which I like. I mean, don't get me wrong, the PX is a lovely whiskey, but that I will prefer it as a dessert ram and wait for it. More of the sweet caramel kind of a sweetness coming out from that. But Oloroso is something which I will just pour a ram and sit.
Sit back on a sunny evening and relax. But I was thinking, if you pair it with a nice meal, the PX, I can imagine you have a few things what pair well with this.
Yeah.
Of course, dark chocolate.
Yeah, it does work well with dark chocolate.
I'm actually having these two whiskeys after a month. It's been exactly 30 days since I've been sitting in Shilton's cave.
So someone has a good idea. Koen says chocolate mousse. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you see it, but I don't know if I pronounce it.
Nilesh.
Yeah. He says, enjoy your lockdown.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you are. Welcome social media.
Well, the day there's something wrong with the social media, then it's horrible.
Yeah.
That's when his whiskey collection goes into trouble.
More than my whiskey collection, I'm more scared about my beer collection there.
There can't be much of that left.
So
Anna's joining us as well.
and joining us with some whiskey or some beer. I'm still confused.
No, actually, she early on she said this.
Thought so.
Yeah.
I thought.
It's strange because I don't have any girls in house.
That's because I've not planned the visit there, Gunther.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few guys in the UK watching. We've got Andy and Simon, etc., watching us. Cindy.
Oh, nice.
Cheers, guys, for watching in. So what do you think to the PX now, comparing it side by side with the also?
So again, the PX is there's not much of it. There is except for the cask, the aging wise, and the ABV. It's a similar concept with the PX. It's a select cask, carefully selected cask, and 5 years and 2 years finished in a PX. Instead of the Oloroso, like the one you tried, like the one we tried before, we are using a PX over here. And it's more sweeter. As I said, I will prefer this more of a dessert dram for myself. I can easily imagine sitting with this just after your dinner. Just sit back, enjoy it. Sweet, more of this toffee on the palate.
But Peter has a question for you. Oh, don't be shy, Shilton. Peter asks, is this one also good with Coke Zero?
Yeah, you can have the Coke Zero once you finish the whiskey. It's definitely good.
That was your first encounter with Peter, I presume? Peter was buying a bottle of whiskey, and he was standing next to me, and he was asking, which Coke do I have to use with this one? And Shilton was like, what?
No.
It was welcome in Belgium.
Yeah. Oh, we got some good memories there.
Yeah. Someone asked me to post this one.
Is this yourself typing this in, Gunther?
No. I didn't type anything.
I just saw you typing it in there. Was that you?
No, I didn't type anything.
So what about pumpkins?
So, yeah, tell us more. What about pumpkins?
Was it me or was it you? I mean, well, don't pull up the picture now. Don't pull up the photo that you have. So
No, Shilton was a bit happy.
Yes.
At that point. He just finished a tasting, and we went for a bite. And on our way back, he saw a big pumpkin next to the road.
I saw the pumpkin when we were actually heading off to have the dinner. It was kind of on the way.
This one is a witness.
Okay. Yeah, so
Yeah,
the pumpkin was on the way, and when we're coming back, I saw it again, and that is the time I said, you know what, let's take this pumpkin home. I would have really loved to have, I'd love to try something cooked from that pumpkin, but I hope you enjoyed it, Gunther.
My mother did.
Okay. Yeah, it was a big, heavy pumpkin, by the way. It gave me some tough time to take it to your place.
When I started, saw you starting making it loosen it up, so I was okay. That's strange. And I saw you carrying it. It was okay. This guy is nuts.
I've been out with Shilton, believe me, I understand.
Everybody who has been out with Shilton knows what I mean.
I will remember that for my life. It's one of those moments. I mean, it's many times you get this thing asked in the industry. You come across people and they say, "What is your moment? Something you remember, memories in the industry or encounters you come across." For me, these are the moments which you cherish. You remember for your life. Carrying that big heavy pumpkin to your house, driving in the car with Peter back
Stay between the white lines, you mean?
In between the white lines, I mean.
I heard the story.
These are the memories. These are the memories you keep.
Drinking a bowl of beers poured together.
No. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I was not a part of it. Thanks.
I think you have at least one fan in Belgium.
for the support. I know there is some support coming from Anne out there. I wasn't the one drinking all that beers.
No. Shilton's got a lot of fans in the UK as well. He's got a lot of fans that would love to follow him around.
Actually, I always compare him with the Beatles. There's a fan base because everybody likes most people like Paul John.
Yes.
But Paul John wouldn't be Paul John in Europe. Yeah. And that's a strange thing. Most ambassadors can be replaced, but I'm not sure if they replace Shilton at some time, if that would be a good thing.
I'm sure everyone's replaceable.
Yeah.
In the end, okay, but it will cost a lot of time and fans.
Yes. One thing I will always say, well, for starters, Shilton was the guy that introduced me to Paul John and made me realise how good whiskies were from around the world. You know, my family's originally from Scotland, so I was always raised on Scotch whiskey. So Shilton's got that going for him straight away. But on top of that, Shilton made my job so much easier with the hard work he put in here in the UK. Stepping in to follow from him was just, he'd already done so much hard work and got such a respect and loyalty from people in the UK. So I can see how he'd get that through the rest of Europe as well.
But Greg, you were working in the industry before?
No, I was. I'd done brand ambassador before, but for a completely different company. I used to work for a coffee chain.
Okay, completely other product.
Yes, but by trade, I actually work for the heavy industry. So I used to be a plater welder.
Okay,
but I've always been around whiskey. You know, like I said, my family's used to work for brewers and stuff like that, so I've always been around it. So,
actually, you're saying I have Scottish roots, so whiskey is in my blood, something like that.
Pretty much, yes. 2 weeks old onwards, I've been drinking it.
Shilton, there's a question from Peter for you. Actually, I want to see it as well.
That thing from Peter is not a question, so pass it. I'm not answering it.
No, but if you want to do a dance or something, go for it.
Just as Craig was mentioning about the whiskey industry, about introducing to him being introduced to the Indian whiskies, Paul John. I also I can ask Craig to share his first experience when he tried the edited with the ginger ale. What we tried, nice sunny afternoon, and Craig, I'll let you.
Yeah. So I was we was doing a festival in Liverpool. It was in the Metropolitan Cathedral. So it's done in the what they call the catacombs. So it's red hot. Middle of the session, we've got 500, 600 people all milling around, and we're tucked over in the far corner with a couple of other brands. And I'll be honest, a little overweight, bright red, feeling very hot. And I was just like, I'm going to have to go outside, get a breath of fresh air and sort of freshen up a little bit and then come back. And Schultz said, "Hey, just try this. I'll be back in a minute." Brought me back this little drink. Give me this. And I was like, "What's this?" He said, "Just try it." So I sucked this drink, and it was the most refreshing drink I'd had at that time ever. And I'd never really thought of making. I'd known about old fashions and sours and stuff, and yeah, I'd had those, but I never really thought about mixing different cocktails. And Shilton gave me the edited with ginger ale and fresh lime.
And a Paul John whiskey.
Yep.
Edited, yeah.
Edited whiskey. So It was just such a really nice, refreshing drink. It was the first time. And to be honest, I will swear by that drink in the middle of summer as something to sit in the back garden with in a nice highball and just relax with.
Okay. So people at home, make it. Try it. Buy it.
It's as simple as to do. I mean, you can just pick up.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah. But that's one of the main reasons I'm a fan of cocktails, but I don't make any cocktails at home for the simple reason I can't. I'm not equipped with that. unless it's something simple, and like you said, this is fairly simple, so even I can do it. Otherwise, I can ask Anne to do it. It's so Anne, if you're still watching, I want an edited highball.
And if you're still watching, and if you're not watching as well, don't worry. I will send you a message with how to do it as well. So I'll sort this out for you.
Okay, we have one more whiskey, the Peated Select. I know, Craig, you prefer the bold, but it's the Peated Select. Sorry.
Well, the Peated Select was always my favourite, but Shilton's been winning me over to the bold just of late. We used to have a little bit of a competition when we did our tastings together here in the UK. And at the end of the night, we'd count the hands on who preferred the bold or the Peated Select and see who would win. I'm afraid I have to admit, I think Shilton won out.
The bold.
Yes, the bold won out. Even though I championed it was just, I think he paid them off more.
It was Shilton.
Put a bit extra in the glass.
You know who I am? I am Shilton. You have to like this one more.
So, Craig, I'll let you talk about the peat, about how we source the peat and stuff like that. So yeah.
So one of the things I get asked most often here in the UK is how we get a peated whiskey in India, because obviously we haven't got the peat bogs as we have in Scotland. So Paul John, they import the peat from two places, one in Islay, one in the Highlands. We use a mixture of both styles of peat for the edited and the Peated Select. We only use the peat for Islay for the bold. The Peated Select, which generally is my favourite of our Paul John range, uses a mixture of both the Highland and Islay peat, predominantly more Highland, about 65 to 70% of it. So it has a lovely sort of more that earthy heather campfire note, but still retains that sort of beautiful fruity Paul John character, which I love. And even though it's the select cask at 55.5%, I really think the alcohol level is really, really gentle for the height that it is. It doesn't give you that big alcohol burn or that hit. It's just kind of really gentle and fruity. It's one that I generally always take to my parents, coming especially Christmas time. I've got that point where I go up, visit my dad, take a few cigars. We sit out in the garden with a bottle of this, smoking the cigars until someone comes out and tells us we're in trouble and we've got to go in. So what does Shilton think? I know Paul's your favourite.
No, I mean the peated select cask. I love the nose itself. I mean, starting from the nose, you get that earthy, heathery character coming up straight away. Yeah. A lot of fruits, it's tropical fruity character. You get a lot of tropical fruits like the classic, similar like the classic, but you get the plus the peach in here. On the palate itself, it has got this spice to it. The one good thing about the peach that I love is, especially when you're having on the first sip and you start chewing it, just keep it for some time. It gives that spice bite to the tip of your tongue. Just shoots up. It's a big whiskey. It explodes. It's peated roughly about 35 ppm, so it's not heavy peated, but it's a big boy. It has got it's a big character into
smoothness,
it. Spice, more of this peppery spiciness to that, and more of this heathery, earthy peat rather than more
almost like that earthy honey, sort of smokiness there. Like we were saying earlier about the Oloroso, I think this is a beautifully balanced peated whiskey. The peat's not too overpowering, but it's not doesn't bury the fruitiness of the character of the whiskey.
What I like is there's a bit of saltiness in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part of the whiskey.
Yeah. For me, it kind of reminds me of, I've got that Paul John character, that nice fruitiness.
Yeah.
Then I've got that earthiness and sort of full-bodiedness that's there. And I've got that little bit of that peat that comes from all around Scotland. So I've got little hints of different locations that as a child I was there trying whiskies at different distilleries, etc. I've got that little hint coming from all of these. But underlying, I've still got that beautiful sort of fruity creaminess that is Paul John.
Again, we get that Goa itself is hot and humid, Gunther. I mean, looking at tropical climates, looking at an average temperature of 23 to 25 degrees in the winter. I mean, I have seen temperatures going up to 35 as well, 35 and 40 back sometime in the month of May and April. But also at the same time, it's humid. There's a lot of saltiness in the air. You're looking at 60%, 70% humid. That's a lot of humidity there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're based next to the sea.
Yeah. You're just like 2 kilometers from the sea. So.
And the warehouse is at the distillery itself, or is it's mainland?
No, it's at the distillery itself. We have the warehouse above the ground, and we also have underground cellar where you'll find all this Oloroso, the PX, and the new ones coming out. Anything which we want to try, we'll have it in the underground cellar, which is, I mean, if you ask me, that's the best spot in the distillery for me. I could. I
can imagine.
I will want all our meetings and conferences to be happening in the underground cellar. That's
the underground. It's just a beautiful. It's like this. Imagine Aladdin's cave that you walk into.
Yeah.
That's it's nice to hear you talk about it, but is it an invite?
It's still an invite, yeah.
So it's such an amazing place. I've been to so many distilleries here in the UK, and I went to the distillery last May, and it was such an amazing place to visit. The pictures, it looks amazing, but the pictures do not do it justice. The place is beautiful, stunning, and I've never seen or been to a distillery like it.
But the visitor center, what we just have seen, this one,
Yes.
It's next to the distillery, or is it included in the distillery?
It's next to the distillery.
It is.
Okay.
Yes. So the underground cellar will be under the visitor center.
Okay.
The building which you have just seen, it's underground.
Okay, it's good to know. So when we arrive, I will say we don't have to be here. I want to go underground.
That's all. That's the only place I want to go. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
I booked to be underground. Okay, guys. I have a few questions.
Yes.
For the both of you. Life on the road. Hard. Is it easy, or do you say sometimes it's hard being away from? I think it's more or less for Shilton heavier than for Craig, because I presume you're going home.
The majority of the time, I'd say 85% of the time, I get to go home. So it's very enjoyable. It's maybe not as glamorous as what it looks like on social media, but it's hard work. But actually, because of what we do and because we enjoy it, it doesn't feel like it's hard work. Don't get me wrong, there is times when you do wonder why you do the mileage. I believe I did just short of 37,000 miles in 9 months.
Okay, by car.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and that's nowhere near the mileage that Shilton will do by plane.
Shilton, how is it for you?
No, I mean it's there are two different things of it. Everyone says it's lovely. You are on the road. You get to travel. It's a lovely job. Yes, but you get to travel, but most of the time, what do you do? I mean, you seen us. We come into a country. We get in straight away at work. Finish off the show 1 day, 2 days. You're in the same building, staying in the same hotel, and then you go back. So the good thing about the entire thing is that for me, and something which I love, is meeting people.
Yeah.
So I love that. So that's why I'm happy. I'm doing well with it. I love meeting people. I like to learn more about different cultures and and moving around. So that's a good part. At the same time, it's not as easy. I mean, you need to be able to. A lot of guys say, "How do you even sleep in a plane?" I can't. If you ask me, I fall asleep before even the plane takes off.
Yeah.
I'm so used to that. And it's not good, I know, but regarding your meals, your food, so there is. It looks beautiful, as Craig said. It looks great, but at the same time, there are a lot of difficulties into it. But for me, it is more about learning, more about the whiskey, about the industry, because I believe that you learn something every day. Every time you learn something new. So for me, that's good, and I meet people. So yeah.
And you're meeting, and after a while, you meet people you already know, and they're becoming friends. So that's a plus point. But
you end up with a huge extended family.
Yeah, but staying at home.
You do a lot of things, Gunther, which, I mean, that is something. I mean, for example, I never walked home with a big heavy pumpkin in my life. That's something I did for the first time because I came saw you.
You never ate a fish in a Greek restaurant before.
No, exactly.
No, I know.
No, and Shilton's the guy that introduced me to oysters with bold whiskey.
Yeah.
Being out on the road.
And he likes his oysters, I know that.
Yes, he does.
But staying at home for the moment, is it hard? Because you're not used to be home that long.
No. So thanks for sorting this conference, this chat with us, because this keeps us connected back to the people, connected back to the industry, connected back to you. If not, you'll see me going insane. I mean, just look at me. I'm kind of losing it already. So another 2 weeks time, I don't know what I'm going to be. So no, but
we will come back then.
It's not.
Yeah, I must admit, with like Shilton saying there, we've had plenty of conversations over the phone, but actually not being able to meet people face to face, you don't realize how much you miss doing that. Like Shilton said, it's that meeting the people, building that relationship and that friendship with them. And when you can't do that anymore, it does kind of hit you hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. Last question. I'm gonna start with Shilton because it's heavier for him. Choose Shilton. Yours or a good single malt?
Okay. They're very different, by the way.
I know.
It's after a very good whiskey session, I will want to end up with a goose or 2
or 3
or 3
or 5,
or I would like to have a goose before starting a tasting session as well. That's there is one thing a lot of guys say, why do you like it? It's not many people like that kind of a beer, For me, it's quite refreshing, very refreshing. So it's kind of just freshens up everything. And after all the whiskeys that you have, I want to have a nice, chill, refreshing goose rather than having those heavy beers. So for me, that's the only reason why I will prefer that beer over anything else.
Okay.
For me, I'd probably go with the single malt, more because I never really used to drink any sort of beers until I met Shilton. And Shilton introduced me to them, but he said the same thing, and I tried them. And after we've done festivals, actually having like a goose, it is so refreshing, kind of perks you up for the rest of the evening. So, but I generally would prefer the single malt.
Okay, we did a beer tasting with Shilton once. If you ever
try any,
what?
Did any of you lot get to try any?
Yeah, whenever you're coming over, we will arrange another beer session as well. Okay?
Definitely.
Hey guys, thank you very, very much for this session. We will talk later on. Stay safe. And I hope to meet you again very soon on one of more occasions. Greg, I hope to meet you someday in real life.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for inviting me. I know it was a bit of a surprise for Shilton.
It was my pleasure, and his face was worth it. So, Greg, Shilton, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter. And I thought I will see a bit of your dancing moves today, but you disappointed.
Okay, we have one interesting question now. We have last.
Yes, we need to know the answer.
Yes, I saw that. What's your favorite? Many. But my first one is, I mean, you always say your first one is the one you like more. So the Boone Brewery is one of my favorites, where I started first, liking and understanding the Goose Boone, and then my recent is the Continental.
Okay, I have to say I never tried it.
I know. Every time I show you one of those, you say I've never tried that.
No. I have to say I'm not a big fan of Goose. I drink it, but it's not my favorite beer because I prefer other beers. Simpler, just a pint on a regular basis is okay by me. So over a nice time.
I think I've got almost all different styles of this styles of this beers. All your goozers with me. I just had the 3 containers yesterday, and that's the thing which I'm worrying about. That before this lockdown, I need to get my beers back. So yeah,
you can order them in Belgium. They will send it to you.
Yeah,
They'll ship full shipping crates, will they?
Shipping. Exactly.
Best customer lives in England.
So,
No.
I'm looking forward to you putting up a video of the dance moves, because I think maybe you will need someone to record it. So I'll let Anne do the recording part, and you and I'll wait you for coming up with that video.
The video will come soon. So thank you very much, guys. I will be later on. So goodbye and have a nice evening. Bye.
I hope you guys.
Goed, dat waren Shilton en Greg. Het was zeer leuk om jullie allemaal te mogen verwelkomen. Ik hoop dat jullie genoten hebben. Ik hoop jullie woensdag opnieuw te begroeten, want dan spreek ik met Patrick van der Linden van Brakkedeer, een Belgische onafhankelijke bottelaar, zeer sympathieke vent, man. Als jullie hem nog niet kennen, is het hoog tijd dat jullie hem leren kennen. En we gaan ook weer enkele leuke dingen bespreken. Goed, alvast tot woensdag hoop ik en fijne avond nog. Dat was